hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it, folks. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is a Monday. We have so much to break down. Football, right and left. And by the way, new boss man up at Utah State.
Yeah, it's good to finally get him nailed down.
Cameron Walker.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
What do we know about the guy?
Actually, quite a bit. I did a deep dive. I posted a quick little video on Twitter last night. He checks all the boxes. He really does.
Looks like they kind of went the opposite direction of what they've gone in the last couple of years.
Yes.
Or a couple of hires.
Yes. The guy's got, now he doesn't have any ties to Utah State, but he's got ties to the state of Utah. He worked at UVU, was the associate athletic director at UVU. That's where he cut his teeth. Then he went to Central Florida, was part of that crew that turned that program. And not Big 12 Central Florida. We're talking G6, Danny White, national championship, turning that program around, Central Florida. And then Danny White goes to Tennessee. He takes Walker with him, and they turn that program around with Josh Heupel and that crew. So I think there's plenty to be excited
Precedence.
about. But he's got Utah ties. He gets the Utah culture. I don't know if he's LDS or not. I don't care.
You don't know if he's a member?
But to me, all I care is that he knows how to navigate the world in that religion. And so he gets all of that, and I think it's a good fit. Plus, he loves Bear Lake. Says he loves Bear Lake.
Who doesn't love Bear Lake?
He's like, I try to get there as often as I can.
It is getting a little overcrowded.
Yeah.
But you got to still love Bear Lake. What's funny, I'm watching the TV. How often do you think guys just leave the field because they're embarrassed? They fake an injury?
Oh.
And get off. Because you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheep.
Yep.
It's like, okay. It's like, how? So is it bad?
He's going to need an MRI. Yeah. Okay.
Because the team needs you.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Oil Man needs you.
Oh, Mr. Oil Man done stepped in it too.
But you never know.
I guess I would ask you that.
There's been a few times I've been on the field and I'm like, I want out of this game.
Yeah.
I want out of this game. This is a nightmare. I think my backup could do better.
Your pride, though, wouldn't allow you to do that.
No, it wouldn't. But
there's a lot of people that don't that feel so secure in their spot on the team that they would never do that. That they would actually consider that, I'm sure.
So the one time I think I actually gave into it was at Wyoming. Freezing cold, 5 below at least. Smashed my hand in between two helmets.
Yeah.
The elevation had me huffing and puffing. I felt dehydrated. It was just pure hell on earth. It was like, because I love the game of football. I love to play it. Love to analyze it. I didn't even mind practicing it because I was kind of a goofball. I'd have some fun at practice.
Yeah.
But that weather, that elevation, that crowd or lack of crowd, it all just made it the worst time of my life. And I was like, I want off the field. And Chris Hoke felt the same. And the two of us, the two D tackles, we were fighting about who's going to get off the field and who's getting the rotator in. And it's the first and only time in my life I think that ever happened. But I've had it. And I think that we see it from time to time where guys like, yeah, I'm just going to get off the field.
And you're probably winning fairly easily.
Yeah, no.
Oh, never mind.
No, we were getting piped. You knew that, and you just poked the bear.
I didn't know that.
You knew that.
I did not. I promise. I think there was only.
You were just assuming.
I was assuming because that's usually how it went.
Oh boy. Well, speaking of wanting to get off the field, I do think that there were some Utes that wanted to get off the field yesterday or Saturday, and yeah, I've done the film review. People can go take a look at it at 975 Hans. I posted probably 8 or 10 different videos to show you some of the MAs. Some people call them MAs, some people call them MEs. You've got missed assignments, MAs, or mental errors, MEs. But there was a lot of them, plenty to go around offensively.
Yeah.
A couple defensively, but more offensively.
Or a lot of just bleep ups.
A lot of beep ups, yeah. A lot of bleep up. You can call them those too. A lot of times that's what they get called in position group meetings.
So I guess the question is, well, I guess let's kick it off. Starting lineup, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utah cobbling together a drive. They'll go quickly, 2nd and 1. At the 5. Handoff. Parker. Touchdown, Utah. First down at the 24. And wide open. Touchdown. Terrence Carter Jr. Willie the Whip does it again. Dickey keeps going. Outside. Sideline. Touchdown. Texas Tech. Cameron Dickey. 24 yards. Back breaker.
All right, a lot to break down from this Utah game, but let's just pick up that point right there. Your starting lineup brought to you by Mountain Land Supply, where the pros go for all the inside, outside irrigation. If water runs through it, Mountain Land will get you squared away. Go to mountainland.com to find a location near you. So, Hans, was Texas Tech that good, or was Utah that bad?
Texas Tech was that good. They're that good. I think they're going to be spectacular. You heard the names. Cameron Dickey is really dang good. Jacoby Williams is really dang good. Those two running backs are going to be spectacular. You heard a couple of the other names. Reggie Virgil, really good. Terrence Carter, really good. The names you didn't hear is the Texas Tech offensive front. It's really good. And you also didn't hear much from the Texas Tech defensive front. It's really good. So I'm impressed with the roster that they've put together, the talent that they've got in the trench. I would say it was a bit of a push on Utah, the defensive side. And I would say at times Utah got the better of the Texas Tech offensive front. But I would say that the Texas Tech defensive front, they did at least match and at times win the day. That was a big test for Utah's offensive front. But this is not as much about Utah's offensive line as it is about a lot of the counterparts to the offensive line. So you've seen Jason Beck's offense. There's a lot of movement, a lot of working parts, and you've seen him bring defenders over. But, you've got 4 or 5 different tight end style blockers that have to be on the spot. You've got receivers that are responsible for picking up different blocks. They got to be on the spot. And what I found was the guys that you deployed for those blocking assignments, they made a lot of mental mistakes. And I don't really like to specify names, Scotty, because I could watch film and I could see the same guy making 3 or 4 mistakes. And that might actually be what he's supposed to do. And there might actually be a guy that didn't motion. There might actually supposed to be a screener that didn't loop back. Instead of running the tunnel screen, he ran the step back jailbreak. You know what I'm saying?
So it's hard to assign blame.
Exactly.
Something happened.
Yes.
You just don't want to assign blame not knowing who was the one who dropped the ball.
Exactly. 100%. So I tweeted out a couple of different film reviews of what was happening with Jason Beck's offense and in the screen. So in the screen game, Scotty, as an offensive lineman that's responsible for any type of screen blocking, a slot receiver that's responsible for any type of screen blocking, a tight end or H-back that motions or is connected that's responsible for any type of screen blocking, you have a very simple count process. I say it's simple. It's not as simple because defensive shifts before the snap can change blocking responsibility. So you can actually cloud into a screen that confuses your blockers. It's happened to me. It'll happen 100 times. And it seemed like it was happening to Utah, where they would line up and you'd have a cornerback bail to a 5 to 8 yard depth. You'd have an outside linebacker shift to the outside. Well, all of a sudden, the outside linebacker that shifts to the outside might become number one most dangerous to the screen catcher because the corner is dropped to 8. Now the one comes inside. So as a slot receiver that's responsible for blocking first most dangerous, I have to recognize he dropped off. I've got to block what was number 2. And the offensive lineman, without communicating it with the slot, has to understand the same drop process and the same switch. Now he has to either go underneath or go over the top of that initial block and pick up what was number 1 that became number 2. Those are the types of things that get really confusing. That's why a lot of teams have gone to complete zone concepts, because with different shifts and different techniques and stems, you kind of eliminate the man-on-man stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, anybody that crosses your face, that becomes your problem. But the problem with that is you get caught in this middle ground. Like, is he crossing my face or is he on my outside shoulder? Is he crossing my face or is he just breaking inside? Oh, he broke inside, so once he broke inside, he was not my problem anymore. Okay, so am I losing people?
No,
okay.
Not at all.
Okay, so what happens then if I'm Lander Barton and I've got fly sweep outside blocking responsibility and I'm on a zone block responsibility, not a man block. Okay, so I'm moving to the outside. I see that outside linebacker. He's coming at me. I'm picking up outside man. If he cuts inside, that's no longer my man. It's a trail blocker. Well, that trail blocker's got to pick him up. Well, here's the problem, Scotty. Texas Tech was cutting inside, but they were knifing. So they were cutting and getting deep into the offensive backfield and blowing the hell out of plays, just blowing them up. So you can't do that. So if you got a guy that's coming play side and he knifes backside to cut behind your shoulder, and you're like, oh, well, blocker number 2 is going to get him. Blocker 2 ain't going to get him. He's going to bow the play. And that happens so many times. They bowed the play. And then Texas Tech safeties, nickels, outside linebacker. Then you get those big-ass hits, those big hits.
No, you're fine.
You get those big hits that freaking rock people.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Because you're extending the play. They've got to keep going sideline to sideline instead of getting up north.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So this is the problem, and this happens all the time. Okay, so I'm practicing against my look squad defense, and I've got an orange jersey on Wayshawn Parker, and I've got a red jersey on Devin Dampierre, and I've got an orange jersey on Smith Snowden, and we're working screen games. Well, who's going to cut knife like a Texas Tech defender that's paid $800,000? Nobody. So what happens when the play works in practice?
We got this.
Oh, we picked up our zone responsibilities, and here we go. So what I saw was what was working in practice is not an $800,000 nickel or outside linebacker that goes 342 pounds with 4.45 speed. That's who makes $800,000.
Yeah.
And he is paid to make that backside knife cut, get penetration, bow the play, and allow my defense to converge.
Yeah.
And he did it.
And by the way, he's not getting paid $800,000 to make the tackle. He's being paid $800,000 just to blow up the play and let everybody else come in and clean it up.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Just go cause havoc.
Yeah.
And, I've had a couple different coaches in my life that were that kind of coach. And I think the coach that personifies that more than anybody, you know who David Terlink is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when Tony Dungy came in and took the Colts job my second year with the Colts, he brought in David Terlink. That's all Terlink taught with Dwight Freeney, with Robert Mathis, with our interior guys. They had zero gap responsibility. All their job was to get in the backfield. He had a name for it, but it's insensitive. Was to get in the backfield and cause absolute havoc. And what did Freeney do and Mathis do? They became Hall of Famers off of it. And sometimes they didn't make the tackle, but they pushed the tackle 3 to 5 yards deep or they push the runner 3 to 5 yards deep, and then somebody else comes and cleans it up for a 1 yard loss or a 2 yard gain. That's what Texas Tech did. They were bowing it, and then they were picking up for 1 and 2 yard gains. That's what they did.
Yeah. There's a clip rolling around of Tyrann Mathieu when he played for the Chiefs, and he knifes into a play, and an offensive lineman just blows him up.
Yeah.
Blows him up. And then, guess what, though? Somebody comes in and gets the TFL, and he gets up and he celebrates. And he's like, TFL, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And he took the nasty shot.
But he took a hit.
He took a nasty hit.
I know the player you're talking about.
But he's looking around being like, you know what? Because I took you out of the play, the support came and finished it off.
That's 100% right, Scotty. And you're probably seeing it with Broncos defense.
Yes.
You're seeing it with a couple of defenders in particular that push and bow. Texas Tech did it masterfully. So if I've got a guy like Jason Beck that loves to get on the outsides and loves to try to use bow speed, so he's using Smith Snowden as speed, or he's using Benny as speed, or he's whatever speed he's trying to use. Okay, well then let's just bow the speed. We're going to cause havoc, bow the speed, and then we'll have Nichols come up and clean it up. And they did it.
Yeah.
So that's just one part of about 20 that led to the beating that Utah just took from Texas Tech. So we can get into all the different areas of these. Like, for instance, sometimes I typically watch games without commentating on. I don't like to have the volume on because my eyes see a game the way my eyes see it, and the way I play it or the way we played it. And so I like to just see it how I see it, and I don't like to be influenced. So I'm watching this game, and Spencer Fano is off a reach block, off an RPO, and I see him climb. So Spencer Fano's off a reach block RPO that gets to the outside. So I can either hand off to the downhill running back, I can keep and keep around the edge, or I can keep around the edge, pause, and throw it. So as an offensive tackle, I'm trying to bide my time because I've got about a 2 yard, maybe 3 yard maximum before it becomes illegal offensive lineman downfield, right? Mm-hmm. What is it? Is it 2 yards in college?
Yeah, I want to say 2, maybe 3.
It might be 3.
I think it might be 3.
I think it might be 3 in college and
2 in the NFL.
1 or 2 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm biding my time, but I do have a responsibility to hook and climb. That's the RPO responsibility. So the longer that play is taking to develop, the further downfield I get. So I'm watching Fano and I'm like, oh, he's 100% rolling on an RPO keep. He thinks Devin Dampierre is going to just keep and come up the field. So he climbs, and he picks up a defender. Well, Dampierre didn't climb. He threw it. And he threw a dime. Oh. And it was like the moment that Utah needed.
Yeah.
And so just for the sake of wanting to hear it, I rewound it. And this guy's like, there's no chance. This is a pass play. What is he doing? Why would he ever climb? This is a rollout. And I'm like, the hell, I have not heard this. Did you say Kyle made comments on this? Oh, I hope I'm not wrong.
Here's Kyle.
Oh, I hope I'm not wrong.
Lineman didn't hear the call, the entire call, didn't realize that it was a play action, and it was the correct call by the ref. I mean, he was, 8 yards downfield? He was way down there. So, miscommunication.
It was a play action?
It was play action, yeah.
Because that looked RPO.
See, that's
originally he said RPO, and I think I mentioned this in our podcast. Like he mentioned RPO, and he goes, play action. He did say play action. Witt did in the postgame.
What do you mean?
Originally, he called it an RPO, and he goes, play action.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be a play action.
Play action.
He meant to say play action. Fano did not hear the full play call, is what he was saying.
So it sounds like
the Fano blocking. What he did was
RPO.
Was 100% RPO represented.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's
But that goes to the details that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. It all comes down to the details. And the fact is, when I saw that, well, honestly, I was prepping for my game and I had Twitter open and I saw touchdown wiped away, illegal man downfield, and my thought was RPO.
RPO.
Without watching it, my thought was immediately, that's an RPO.
And when you watch the blocking scheme,
I thought RPO.
Of Fano, it's RPO blocking.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's a keep. Dampierre's got to keep and roll. And that's it. There was, in fact, in the BYU game, there was that exact instance, but instead of Bear throwing it down the field, Bear Bachmeier kept and rolled. It's basically the same offensive look. He kept and rolled and went for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. So there you go. I mean, these are the stupid, horrible penalties and mistakes that kept you from being able to win this game. And I've got about 12 other points. I've got about 12 other points that we need to get to.
Let's do it.
At some point.
Let's go. Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head to Boulder for a battle against Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Bronco Mendenhall, head coach at Utah State, will join us coming up here in just a minute or so for his weekly conversation. Utah State beats McNeese State, as they should, but there was no element of doubt. Sometimes, you start a game with an FCS opponent, you're like, ooh, this could be a problem. No, none of that in this one. Utah State, wire to wire, had complete control of this game.
Just curious, what do you think, as far as McNeese State is concerned, how much gap is there between like a McNeese State to a Hawaii or a San Jose State?
Well, San Jose may not be quite a large gap, but okay, I'll put this in perspective. McNeese was down 3 touchdowns with 9 minutes left to Weber State and then came back and had a chance to have a 2-point conversion. So they're neck and neck with Weber, and Weber isn't particularly good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably be, I don't know, slightly above 500 in Big Sky play.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you're looking at.
Weber's really sliding.
Yeah, I know.
Dang.
I feel bad.
Yeah, that's painful. I look at McNeese State. You talk about the Weber State game. They put up 41 points against Weber State. They put up 54 points in their opener.
They have some weapons offensively. And that Louisiana area pretty well. When you're bringing in a kid, and all of their 2 deeps are just littered with Louisiana kids.
Okay.
They keep it really close to home. So if they've got one thing, it's speed.
A lot of speed. Great athletes across the board. Did they have any size that you could see?
Not really.
Size is the one thing that you really can't buy, and you can't build, and you have to recruit.
Bryson Barnes, 293 yards through the air, 128 on the ground. 5 touchdowns total. 3 touchdowns through the air.
Is that back-to-back 5?
Yes.
5 touchdown games back-to-back?
Yeah. Last week it was 3 rushing touchdowns and 2 through the air. And this last game was flip-flop it. 3 through the air, 2 on the ground.
I did not see the interception.
I'll break that down for you. That was almost like a check down deep throw, so to speak. All right, joining us now, it is Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of Utah State. Aggies 3-1 for the first time since 2021. Kind enough to hang out with us. Coach, how are you?
Hello, Coach.
Hey, guys.
Hey, I know Mondays are always busy for you, so we appreciate you taking some time. But as you look at the development, and I know everybody wants to talk about quarterbacks, but just the overall development of your offense with guys feeling comfortable with their roles, do you feel like this offense is on the trajectory it needs to be to get you to where you want to be at the end of the season?
Yeah, I like where we are through 4 games. I think Coach McGiven has done just a really nice job of each week taking the sample size and expanding it, leveraging what we anticipate and what we see that we're doing well, eliminating things and not emphasizing the things that we're struggling with, seeing different players, their roles, expanding on those, and then, building, quite frankly, the complements to some of the plays that become the staples just to keep defenses a little bit more off balance. So the number of personnel groups, the number of formations, the number of eye control issues that we're presenting to the defense, option principles in the run game, as well as the different concepts in the throw game are really just, kind of starting to emerge and clarify our identity.
As a former offensive lineman, hearing the term keeping the defense off balance, it just gets me excited because I know there are little things, everything from a snap count, the cadence, to the type of play call. You can help your offensive line. And, Coach, I go back to that UTEP game where UTEP had 6 sacks and 12 TFLs, and then I go to this McNeese game where there's 1 sack and 1 TFL. What are you seeing up front from your offensive line? And in terms of keeping the defense off balance, can we attribute some of that to what Coach McGivern's done?
Yeah, just exactly what you're saying. So if we started in reverse order, the scheme and the schematic design is certainly influencing, and staying ahead of the chains is critical, right? First and second down. And anytime it's obvious pass, the defense is not off balance. They're able to then kind of dictate terms, create different looks that sometimes have the offense off balance. And so we're just doing a much better job managing first and second down. We're doing a better job of the type of plays. We're doing a better job of creating conflicts, both run, pass, for the defense. And we're doing a better job of creating, quite frankly, defenses that are conflicted by side of the field, where there might be action one way and a complementary play back the other way, which is just spreading out the defenses and making them more uncertain. So run-pass conflicts in any given play, divided fields during the play, and a quarterback that's keeping the ball moving with his legs and completion percentage in between, which is, it's really coming together.
Defensively, I thought you guys had some really great moments, 4th down stops. There were so many things and every week it seems like somebody else is coming up and making big plays. And it was fun to see Bronson Olival with those 2 sacks to essentially end 2 different drives on 4th down. And he seems to really be progressing in his role with this defense as well.
Yeah, it's been a huge benefit to have taken on Air Force this early. You get so many just base run fundamentals and such clear mindset and leverage focus when you play that opponent that early. And then usually that translates, even though the scheme is completely different, your fundamentals and your mindset usually translate really well. And so I saw that regardless of the opponent, the skill and the capability of that team who'd scored over 50 and 40 in 2 of their 3 games. We were fast. We executed cleanly. We were physical. 3 and out almost every drive the first half. I think we only played 28 plays total the first half. And so just a lot of really positive things defensively. I liked how we played.
I'm interested in this because John Miller was second in the country in sacks, just aggressive in the backfield. And in this game, you have William Holmes, who pops up as a linebacker with 2 sacks. Is that something that you manage, Coach? Is that something that, the scheme shows, hey, this week we're going to get Holmes going on the rush, or this week we'll get John Miller going on the rush, or is this just individual effort?
Yeah, it's really both. So certainly each week there are matchups that we like. There's also offensive schemes that maybe allow us to highlight one player more than the other, or puts a player more at the point of attack than any other or in other weeks. But there's also, as everyone knows about our program, the developmental nature and the accelerated focus on that and what it takes week in and out. And sometimes there's just a player where that week they took another giant step and it showed then on game day. And so it's a combination of both the schematics, the type of opponent, but then also, there's just breakthroughs that are happening kind of all over with different players. And so you're kind of seeing a combination of those things when you see production maybe take a jump.
I always hear coaches talk about during a bye week, self-scout and taking advantage of the opportunity to really evaluate if you're showing tendencies or things like that. But on a week-to-week basis, do you have time to do that, to really evaluate, are we too predictable in certain situations? Do we blitz too much on 3rd and 7 and more, or something like that? Are you able to do that in the course of week-to-week schedules throughout a season?
Yeah, that's it. Didn't used to be that way, but with staffing now, and each program has a staff of analysts, and so we'll have a senior analyst on offense, a senior analyst on defense, one on special teams, and there's usually a junior analyst as well. So every week starts with who are we, not who the opponent is. Who are we? What are our tendencies? Where's our production? Where's our weaknesses? What do we need to address? Where do we need to complement? Where are we becoming too predictable? And and then we measure that. We apply that against the template the opponent is providing, and then really the focus goes all the way back on us again. So we're probably the least opponent-focused program. That's an exaggeration. We don't focus much on the opponent. Once we learn their scheme and their personnel, almost the entire focus is just on our own execution and our own precision, on our own fundamentals and the keys and things we need to do versus whomever that is.
Is that how you've always been as a coach, or is that recent developments in how you approach an opponent?
No, it's shifted this way over time. When you're a first-time head coach, you're a younger professional, so much is about the opponent and listening to, I don't know what their press conferences and trying to get glean any information that's coming out of their camp. And I really don't listen or acknowledge any of that. Some of my younger staff does. I spend all of my time on our team. So yes, I acknowledge the opponent. I watch the offense, defense, special teams, and I have a good idea what the schematics look like. And mostly I know numbers, not names of the opponent. And then every second of my time is just on us. And I can control that much more than I can control for the opponent. And it's just better for my peace of mind.
Well, Coach, you take on your second-ranked opponent now, going from Texas A&M to Vanderbilt, Nashville, Tennessee. You taking the similar mindset as you guys head to Nashville, and kind of let us into what that mindset is.
Yeah. So I think it's so some of the information presented to me. Monday's a heavy interview day, and I think it's the first time Doug Hoffman, our sports information director, that Utah State has ever taken on two ranked opponents on the road to start a season in the history of the program. And again, I mentioned to our team when we traveled to Texas A&M, the location of the stadiums, and again, I have the advantage now of experience in a lot of years. The location, the size of the stadium, all of that is has to be acknowledged, and the kids, right? It's a cool college experience for them, and it's fun to see different states and different cultures and what that might look like. The reality is we're going to play a football game, and I don't really care what the patch is or what the ranking is or really anything else other than, yeah, I'd like our players to play really well. I'd like them to play super hard. I'd like them to be united. I'd like to give them their best chance to be successful. And I really don't care where we're going or playing against whom. And so I downplay that. I certainly acknowledge it and then never mention it again. And then we just go to work.
Utah State announces yesterday that Cameron Walker is the new athletic director, and I'm sure we'll be on campus here very soon, and he starts on October 6th. Were you kept up to speed on the process on this, and have you had a chance to chat with the guy running the big chair now? Yes,
to both the questions, I was kept up to speed throughout the whole process. It was comprehensive, it was thorough, it was extensive. And I was included at the very end with the finalists and had a chance to visit with them in person. I'm thrilled with the choice. I think there's so much that makes sense. The development part, the strategic thinking part, the law degree in relation to all the things that happen in the NIL space now, that he's been a football administrator. He's also been an administrator within the basketball program, so the two main generating sports. The number of issues that he's dealt with from Utah Valley as they transition basically from a junior college, right, to where they are now, Central Florida, doing something similar as they're transitioning and growing, and then having the chance to see what Tennessee's athletic department looks like with a really impactful role. His wife is so Cam's wife is from Heber City, young family, and he's from Rexburg and has a great idea after spending 6 years in the state at Utah Valley. There's just so much that makes sense for Utah State besides the type of person he is at this time, at this place. So I'm really excited for the Aggies.
Well, Coach, as we just wrap things up here, I just got to say 3-1, winning a dogfight against UTEP, a nice performance against Air Force, 100-yard game coming for Miles Davis against McNeese and cranking down on the sacks and doing those things. You've got to have a lot of optimism about this team and feeling good about where you're at through 4 weeks, Coach.
Yeah, I really like our team. I love their work ethic. I love their mindset. I love their focus on improving. There's lots of really cool things happening. And, sometimes comparisons are really tricky. But if you look at the Air Force Academy and their game against Boise State this past week, almost an identical score in terms of points scored. Boise gave up one more touchdown than we did against Air Force. And so, again, if Boise on a consistent basis is right the Mountain West preferred champion or one that's predicted, as the season goes, you start looking for benchmarks along the way. And I'm excited about our chances. I love the conference race. I love the parity. And I love the chance that the kids are earning to improve each week. So we're generating momentum for sure.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to catching up with you again later in the week.
Thanks for the time.
All right. Thank you both. See you later.
There he is, Bronco Mendenhall, head coach of the 3-1 Utah State Aggies. And after 4 games, when you're 3 games away from bowl eligibility, considering the season Utah State had last year, that's not a bad thing at all.
Just wish that it wasn't at Vanderbilt. I wish it was at Vanderbilt like in 2018.
Yeah, or even 3 years ago, yeah.
But Vanderbilt right now, I don't know.
Yeah, the guy you called his game, Diego Paiva.
Yeah, Paiva.
There we go.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, they blow out South Carolina.
Yeah.
They put up 44 points on Virginia Tech, at Virginia Tech. They just put up 70 points in 3 quarters against Georgia State.
So this is a team that, or a university that went to its donors and said, look, we can do this now. Now, they very similar to BYU. Vanderbilt has not been known traditionally to be a high athletic program, but when you go to your donors who are very wealthy that have come out of Vanderbilt and say, hey, guess what? We can do this now, and we need your help. And they are spending money like crazy. I mean, you're aware of some of the money that they were throwing around in the offseason.
Yeah, big. $1 million contracts. And this is why. After Utah State, they've got number 17 Alabama, number 4 LSU, number 20 Missouri, number 10 Texas, number 15 Tennessee, and they still have Auburn and Kentucky.
Wow.
That's the remainder of their schedule.
Yeah.
So I understand why Vanderbilt's like, hey, look, we want to do this thing, and it's cute, but we better rebuild all of our facilities, and we better reinvest. Otherwise, we're not going to have a seat at the big people's table at Thanksgiving.
100%.
They're going to put us down with the little kids.
Yeah.
And we want to be smart and be at the big boys' table.
Yes. We want to be both. All right, 1249, what you may have missed. Coming up next, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes hit the road for a battle against West Virginia. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A lot went wrong with Utah. A lot went right for BYU. By the way, travel report.
Yeah.
What do you think in North Kakalaka?
Well, their local politicians and government, they've done a much better job with gas prices, that's for sure.
Yeah.
$2.60.
Yeah, they're right there. You know, it's interesting because they'll say, like, hey, we're right there on the coast. The shipping costs aren't that expensive, but we're next to all these refineries in Wyoming. It shouldn't be that expensive for us.
I think we're like in the top 10 in refineries in state.
Yes. So
I don't get it, man.
I don't either.
Why are we getting jacked on gas prices when fuel is so low everywhere else?
Everywhere else. Yeah, you just go across the border to Wyoming, and it'll be $2.80.
Man, someone help me. So Sunday I went and did the North Carolina barbecue.
Not great, huh? No. That vinegar sauce?
Yeah, so I did because, the pork butt or the pork shoulder, whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, with that Carolina, it's supposed to be the jam. So we went to a highly rated place, and I put the Carolina vinegar on it and ate it, and I'm like, no.
Give me the Kansas City, Memphis style.
And I did a 3-meat, so I ate the brisket. I'm like, no. And then I did a chopped barbecue chicken, and I'm like, no. No, you missed. Like Kenny J's would
give me some sushi.
This place.
Give me some sushi.
Give me some Italian.
I should have went with the sushi.
Give me some sushi.
So Mitch Juergens,
yeah,
took his wife to Italian. Well, they did a pizza place. It was supposed to be some fancy North Carolina.
They did the OG. Go ahead. It's okay.
No, they did not do the OG, which would have been better. Because you don't miss at the
probably
OG.
would have been better than what you had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would have much rather had the OG. But apparently his pizza was not up to par either. He was like, geez, this is... the guy that I went with got the wings, and I tried the wings, and it was a dry wing. And it was like, no, not that either. So fail, and fail.
You know, I spent a good chunk of a couple of years in Raleigh in that area and loved it, but the food, meh.
The food is very meh.
Yeah.
Gas prices? Yeah.
Yes. We're down for that.
I mean, whatever they're doing there, please do it here.
Yeah.
Hire those people.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.